Retirement Homes doing the absolute impossible here with 4 defenders and a Venusaur?
Retirement Homes, you're a bit too old for this. You don't belong here. Let us take it all the way.
But there was a huge upset. Retirement Homes ended up taking down the top seed. The other team that actually ended up going to, gets to go to Hawaii with the top championship points. They lost to 4 defenders and a Venu.
Wow, I mean, so we're seeing Venusaur actually get a lot of play between these regions here.
This was my very first Pokemon Unite Regional Championship, and I'd like to take you through my top 8 cut run with the team. We did almost qualify for the World Championships, and it really did feel achievable. But it all started with our Game 2 against Antic Esports in the losers semi-final. We noticed some weaknesses in their draft, and we decided to take on a defender comp. We locked in 4 defenders with our last pick as a blind.
What is this? What is this?
Crazy.
No
They
way!
are about to go crazy.
Our last pick was Venusaur. Knight felt extremely comfortable taking Petal Venusaur into this matchup. It was my role to keep him alive at the endgame. We knew that our teamfight was superior, so we had to stay ahead on score. The game started rough for us, and I think the casters thought we were trying to put on a show. At the time, it wasn't a show. This was our best draft. We wanted to win. We wanted to make our Worlds trip a reality. But we knew we had our game plan, and we made sure that we had to stay ahead for the Rayquaza fight. This was critical to a successful endgame. The task was simple: keep Knight alive on Venusaur, block incoming attacks, and keep the communication clear and calm. The initial Ray fight was inconclusive, which was fine. We were ahead and we had good control of the map. This is what we wanted, but we had to engage the refight. When we collected KOs, it felt surreal. We took down 1, 2, 3. I started scoring in the bottom as our team held the Ray pit. It was game over. The players of Antic are players who I hold big respect for, and their team is very strong. Part of this win just didn't feel right to me. In my head, they were always the better team, or the better players. And for the first time in this Regionals Cup run, the World's trip felt achievable. It's at this stage of the video, I'd like to introduce you to the members of our team.
Here and there, as we mentioned, a lot of them were together. Knight and Stu, they played together on Ascendance. They took a break in March and then came back together in April for Dodo 2. Now they've continued that, but you also have Unite Climbing also playing with them on Dodo 2. So I guess Retirement Homes is a reiteration of Dodo 2 plus Jeremy, who was originally on a chart on Tribalo for the whole season.
We have our bottom lane defender, Buzz.
Sorry, did you hear that?
I'm sorry, not the flashiest?
No,
I'm a
not the
supporter,
flashiest.
mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm hearing a little buzzing in the air because that man was all over his opposition yesterday. Retirement Homes, their tank has been putting on a spectacle on various different Pokemon, and I think he's gonna be the key difference maker for me. If he can have a pop-off game like he did yesterday.
Oftentimes, great plays from a defender go unnoticed. I'm glad our casters had a good level of awareness to see how critical Buzz was to the success for our wins. Our top laner was Jeremy.
This is a live footage of Jeremy right here. He's bringing up the hand, he's getting it polished, he's ready to send them flying with a couple of backhands. But given that it's in the top half, maybe we see some sort of pedal dance because a lot of Pokemon in play. In comes Jeremy with a very courageous eject button, force a retreat from Steel. He's in a little bit of trouble, but turns around, Hyper Voice shouts back at him, says, "Get the heck out of here." Jeremy's still on the front lines, taking so much damage.
Jeremy joined our team 2 weeks prior to this competition and was incredibly valuable for improving the top lane and analyzing our matchups. Our jungler was Knight.
I think a lot of my eyes will be on Knight. Up for the Venusaur, that's a beautiful Verdananga!
Knight yesterday on the Chandelure really shined. I know in one of the games against Darkshades, they ended up getting like 101k damage or something like that.
I trusted Knight with my life. His communication was short, clear, and he had this magic of knowing exactly where to be at every moment in every game. His selection of Pokemon was insane. Knight was always the player to watch in our matchups. And our bottom lane mage was Stu. Stu started playing this role about 2 weeks prior to regionals and would sometimes flex as our jungler if we needed.
And Stu, I'm glad this man has sort of made that mental recovery because he is doing what his team needs him to do. Secure those objectives, be that frontline, really threaten Fury. And Stu, can they somehow salvage their game?
GG!
No, trio!
They got him!
That is huge!
This flexibility allowed our team to have a great variety of drafts, and I played support. I learned a lot about playing in this role with this team, and I learned a lot about playing competitive at a high level. Now, at the start of the day, we were in the losers brackets because we lost to Ground Zero in the group stage. But this 2-0 loss to Ground Zero was very, very close. In our first game, we actually were a little bit behind early and the Gyarados got fed, but we picked off the Gyarados late game at the Ray fight, and we were able to go into the Ray pit and secure this objective. We were now ahead on score, just by a little bit. It was a very close game, and GZ had a Dodrio. Unfortunately, the Dodrio was able to put in a very small amount of score endgame to put them in the lead. They end up winning by about 14 points, which was absolutely tragic. But we had to keep our chin up and go into game 2. We turned things around in game 2 really well. We actually won the early and the mid game, and we were ahead at the Rayquaza. We actually had a Regieleki walk in to their home base at the Rayquaza time, but our team opted to take a fight. Unfortunately, the Dragonite played exceptionally well and they put themselves in a position to be able to secure the objective just before we were able to kill them. Very well played by GZ. They did exactly what they needed to do in both Game 1 and Game 2 to win this set. They actually went on to win the entire regional championships, so it was kind of... It kind of sucked in the way that we really won our rematch against Ground Zero, because this was a team that we really took it to, but they just got the better of us both times. Fantastic play to them, and they're going to be representing Australia in the World Championships. Let me walk you through our top 8 run. We lost to Ground Zero in the group stages, and that put us in the losers bracket. Our first match in this bracket was against Darkshades. Both matches were fairly comfortable, we made good drafts, we got good early leads, and we played our mid game to maintain this lead for the Rayquaza fight. In Game 1, we almost lost the fight, but Darkshades decided to fight us on our top pad, which was a big mistake in my opinion. It allowed us to regather, and most importantly, gave us time to reevaluate, fix our mental, and pivot into a winning position. We ended up winning the Rayquaza fight and taking Game 1. In Game 2, Stu was on Scyther, and I was on Comfey. I kinda did nothing except pan the map and communicate for about 10 minutes with our team. Stu just steamrolled and continued this into the Ray fight with a big KO streak of 3. We ended up winning Game 2 and proceeding to the top 6. Our top 6 matchup was against Fury Global. They are a strong team with good past results in 2024, and they were definitely on their road to Worlds this year. We knew this matchup was going to be very tough. In Game 1, we didn't draft well, and we got punished for this early. Fury had a very unique early rotation, and it caught me off guard. I died early. The Mew rotated top with the supporter, took the red buff, and collected me with coaching Electro Ball. Then, their Absol took the blue buff, rotated bottom, and then came top before the first set of Bs. From this point, Absol got massively ahead early in the top lane and then rotating through our jungle. Now, if you've played Pokemon Unite, you know that an Absol will destroy your mental very quickly if it gets ahead early. When you play competitive, you need to be calm and rational. This really took a toll, but we had a plan, and we had a game plan to win our late game fight. At the Ray, Fury were far ahead, and the Absol was level 15, but we had a Slowbro and a Sing Wigglytuff. We engaged the fight and we killed the Absol before it does much. The fight was winnable, but we crumbled. Jeremy flashes into one direction to further engage on Fury, and we didn't follow up. We split in the other direction. This was a sign of our team just not having that big experience in those crucial moments. But we didn't let it get us down. We lost Game 1, and the road ahead to comeback was huge, but we had to maintain good mental. Game 2 against Fury was our best game in the entire regional cup run, and what a time it was to pull it off. We draft the perfect team and we play our early game very well. We had control of the game early. We had a Hyper Beam and Solar Beam secure for the first objective, and our goal zones were untouched with a Hooper. We got ahead early and we stayed ahead. Our mid game was safe, and we wanted to make sure we maintained this lead, and a big lead at that, into the Rayquaza. This was our goal for the mid game, and it appears that it wasn't quite obvious for everybody watching. Jeremy got caught in top, and I put a portal down. Jeremy wasn't able to make the portal, and I noticed 4 people were in the top lane pushing to gain map pressure. I ripped my Hoopie Unite, not to fight, but to regather the map pressure. And it worked. Fury were hungry for a fight. They were hungry for some KOs and some experience. They got caught up, and Buzz came through the portal with Trevenant Unite, and we picked up 2 KOs. This gave us a huge lead and gave us great map pressure into the late game. At Rayquaza, we had a huge lead, our goal zones were still untouched, and all I was saying to Buzz and our team was, guys, run the clock and trust the portals. If they overcommit, we engage, and we get 3 kills. It's as simple as that. That's how we win the game. Just run the clock and pull the trigger. And that's exactly what happened. Buzz and I controlled the Ray pit from the bottom with portal pressure. We had Big Secure and we had a Hooper Unite ready to go. It was simply too risky for Fury to start ripping the Ray. We ran the clock down, going into portals, getting map pressure, jumping back into portal, time and time again. With less than a minute left, Fury had to make something happen, and they stepped up. They decided to start hitting our team and hitting the Ray. I ripped the Hooper Unite, and I catch 3 people with their Unite. The fight's successful, and we take the game to 0. It was exactly what we needed. We flipped our mental and got ready for our Game 3. This match, Game 3, was do or die. The draft was even, the early and the mid game was an arm wrestle. Fury were playing really well, but in the last 4 minutes of this match, Jeremy clutched up big time on Leafeon. He had a big fight prior to the Ray at the top Regieleki and put our team in a great position to win the game. We gained control over the top objective and the bottom objective, and we went into the Rayquaza from the bottom side. Now, we knew Fury, and particularly Jeremy had a very good understanding of how Fury do their Ray fight. Same as Buzz. They set up traps. All I remember is Buzz calling out, guys, wait, let me surf the bush, just stay behind me. And this is the kind of intuition from our tank players that they just don't get enough credit. This leadership and that call ensured that we didn't flop the fight. And it worked. We baited out the Sylveon Unite move initially. The fight breaks out and Fury take a portal back to their base. We more or less just flipped them coming back. Stu was mid Gyarados Unite. Jeremy was ready to pop his Leafeon Unite. We had a lot of burst damage. We were only really expecting one person to come back through, get a KO, and try and deathball their team from there. What we didn't expect was 3 members to get instantly deleted at the same time. It's like we popped a balloon. It was game over. We got 3 KOs, and all I remember saying is, yo, rip the Ray, guys, rip the Ray. That's all we have to do. Jeremy had the 2 other members under control, and it was over. He got a penta in this game. We took this match and we advanced to day 2 of regionals. Now, as a team, this was our goal. We just wanted to make day 2. So from this point, anything felt like a bonus. We knew where we were, and we had to verse Antics in the losers semi-final. The run to Worlds felt a long way away at this point. Antic are the poster team for Australia. They are all fantastic players. We were very well prepared for this set, and one thing that we knew about Antic is that they love pressuring that Regieleki into your home base at that 2-minute 20 mark. This is a game plan they're very comfortable and very well rehearsed with. I think it's something they might have adopted in their time in the AOS Cup. But regardless, we knew the plan and it was win top lane, which is hard because I play top lane against Anonymous. Anon is arguably Australia's equivalent to Overlord. I don't like versing him. He's not an easy player to play against. He's very unpredictable. But unfortunately, that was our plan. Win top, don't die, don't let them stack, don't give up lane pressure, just make sure that your lane goes even at worst. So game 1 begins. We draft well, and we notice Antic are playing 4 top early. The plan was for Knight to rotate top on Mew, but he was so well fed in the bottom lane, he just said, hey guys, just don't let them score. I'm huge. I'll be up and we'll win later. So with that, we just trusted Knight's call. And he was right. He got huge early and he rotated to top after the 8-minute Bs, and we got a big engage and we won the fight. This allowed us to break the top lane and win the top lane, which is what we prioritize against Antic. We maintain our lead throughout the match and we don't want to give up any momentum. At 3 minutes 40, I LD Unite to secure the top Reggie. This was a big deal. It allowed us to get everything we needed before the Rayquaza. It allowed us to maintain that map pressure and that farm pressure right through to the last quarter. At Ray, Antic had a Dragonite and they more or less just tried to bait our team around and flip the objective after a mini fight. Unfortunately for them, we secured the Rayquaza and we took the first match 1-0. And we were feeling very good leading into game 2. Then this leads us into game 2, the matchup that kind of put us on the radar as a good team from Australia. We were a top 3 team at the regional championships, and it was my first one. We had 2 more teams to try and get through to make Worlds, LDR and Ground Zero. Both of these teams are top teams. They both have had stellar results in 2024 and prior seasons. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue our run. LDR beat us 2-0. They were simply the better team in this set, and they actually went on to take Ground Zero to a grand final reset but ended up losing in their 5th game. For me, this was a fantastic run. It was heaps of fun, and it obviously sucks to fall short. I plan to play more competitive Unite, and I want to encourage as many other people to play competitive. It was a lot of fun. The team environment was calm, and we had some great memories. As for Worlds, we've got Ground Zero and Antic Esports representing Australia. I really do think that one of these 2 teams is going to get a good result for our region this year. I'll be supporting them from home, and I'll be watching all of their games on this channel. Until the 2025 season, I couldn't have asked for a better first regional cup run.